You ever get the feeling your life's about to go viral and you're the punchline? Because let me tell you, nothing wakes you up like seeing red and blue lights bouncing off your garage door while you're just trying to haul out a box-marked kitchen. Fragile. No, really try it sometime. Beats coffee. That was me, standing on my own driveway, halfway out the door to neighborhood I never thought I'd be desperate to escape. But there I was, one foot in the moving truck, the other stuck in what you might call the HOA, Twilight Zone. Let me paint the picture. The sky was clear, the air thick with the scent of cut grass and a little bit of foreboding. My wife used to love that smell, back when peace didn't come with a permission slip. But not today. Today, standing at the end of my driveway like she was checking visas at a border, was Karen Holt. Clipboard out, blazer crisp, smile tight enough to slice bread. "Stop right there," she says, with the kind of authority usually reserved for traffic cops and substitute teachers on a power trip. "You can't remove property without HOA clearance." I blinked, holding onto that kitchen box like it might shield me from insanity. "Karen, the county released my lot. I'm not in the HOA anymore," I told her, honestly thinking that would be the end of it. "Nope." She flips her stack of papers, her holy book, apparently, and says, "You still owe $3,400 in community restoration fees. Until those are cleared, you're in violation of Section 8B, property abandonment." I swear, two neighbors peeked out from behind their curtains, phones already up like they were live streaming the finale of Neighborhood Court. All I could think was, so this is how peace ends, stream for your entertainment. I promised Laura, my wife, that one day I'd leave this place, start over somewhere by the lake. Fresh air, freedom, maybe even find a little silence that didn't ache so much. But apparently, around here, even grief needs a signature. Karen's phone came out. "Non-compliance will be documented." And just like that, sirens. Real ones, echoing down the block. I couldn't help it. I laughed, halfway between losing it and just letting go, because in that moment I realized even freedom's got a price tag in HOA land. Now, before I drag you any further down this rabbit hole, tell me, where are you watching from? Seriously, if you've ever stood up to some arrogant HOA, paid a fine that felt like a shakedown, or faced off with a neighborhood bully, you're in good company. My name's Ethan Cole. I'm 56, retired engineer, widower, and, as of lately, unwilling expert in suburban politics. 15 years ago, I bought this house in Willow Creek Estates. Back then, the HOA was 3 neighbors with coffee cups and a list of things that mostly made sense. But coffee cooled and power corrupted. It always does. Laura loved this house. Painted the porch sky blue, put roses by the gate, called it our forever place. After she was gone, it just felt empty. Not peaceful, just hollow. I tried filling it with chores, with fees paid down to the penny. I played the game. But one by one, the neighbors I knew moved out. In came people who thought a clipboard made you king. By the time I retired, I barely recognized the place. So I decided to sell. Go somewhere I didn't have to worry about the angle of my mailbox. My daughter, Mia, took a week off from the detective unit. Yeah, my kid's a cop with her mother's eyes, sees right through your excuses before you even open your mouth. "Dad," she said, skimming through the latest HOA newsletter, "you've been branded a non-compliant member." I told her, "Guess I finally made the list." She didn't laugh. "Sometimes control looks like rules," she said. "Let that one sink in." I thought selling the house would end it. Turns out, leaving Willow Creek is like breaking up with someone who won't let go. I got a letter, folded up and taped to my front door. Final warning. Compliance required. The ink ran from the due, but the threat was clear. $3, $400 due immediately for unauthorized landscape modification. I hadn't modified anything, unless trimming your own hedges is an act of rebellion now. Mia read over my shoulder, coffee in hand. "They really think they own your front yard," she said. "No," I told her. "They think they own peace itself." That afternoon, I marched over to the old community clubhouse, which now felt more like a kangaroo court than a place for bake sales. Karen was there, of course, looking immaculate. "Mr. Cole, to what do we owe the pleasure?" I slid the notice across her desk. "There's nothing unauthorized about trimming my hedges, and I'm not part of the HOA anymore." She looked up, slow and smug. According to our updated boundary map, your property is under Section 4, so you're still a member. Or you were, until this violation. When did that happen? I asked. She smiled. Last quarter. It was in a monthly bulletin. You mean the one that stopped coming when I opted out? I shot back. Opting out doesn't exempt you from community responsibility, Mr. Cole. It just limits your voting privileges. Behind her, a sad little American flag drooped. I swear, freedom always looks smaller indoors. This is harassment, Karen. You can't just redraw property lines. We can if it's for the aesthetic integrity of Willow Creek, she said. Mia stepped up, arms crossed, badge catching the light. Is it your way of saying you just want his property back under your control? Karen saw the badge, hesitated, then smiled. I suggest you stay out of HOA matters. This is administrative, not criminal. Keep it that way, Mia replied, voice cool and flat. You'll find that compliance is easier than confrontation, Karen said. As we walked out, Mia whispered, she's lying about the boundary change. I can feel it. Yeah, I said, but feelings don't beat paperwork. She just gave me that detective look, the kind that means maybe sometimes they do. Next day, 3 more letters in my mailbox. One a reminder, one an escalation, and one new. Notice of property lien pending review. The sky was so blue, it almost looked fake, like someone photoshopped peace into the background. They moved fast, Mia said. Too fast. She started taking photos of every letter. That's not legal timing. They're bluffing or fabricating. That night, another notice on my garage. Failure to respond within 72 hours may result in community enforcement action. There was a sticky note under it in Karen's neat script. Still time to cooperate. I tore it down and let the sound echo. In the kitchen, surrounded by half-packed boxes, Mia had her laptop open. Dad, listen. I checked county records. They filed a map update last month. Signed by Karen's husband, Richard Holt. He's not even an official surveyor. Exactly, she said. He runs a landscaping company. Guess who the HOA's exclusive contractor is now? You're telling me every time they find someone for grass inconsistency, I'm helping pay for their vacation? I asked. It hit me like cold steel, my whole career solving technical problems, and here I was stuck in a mess made of people. The next escalation, someone marked my driveway with orange tape, said my surface material wasn't approved. I'd poured that driveway myself. The workers didn't know anything, just following orders. Mia filmed everything. Classic tactic, she said. Exhaust the victim until they give up. Papers are just numbers and ink, I told her. Ink can be erased. The letters didn't stop. Certified mail, email warnings, threats slipped under my door. All with that tone, polite, bureaucratic, hostile. We appreciate your cooperation. Non-compliance will result in further measures. Lori used to bake cookies for these neighbors. Now they weaponize grammar. At night, I'd sit on the porch, boxes behind me, watching porch lights blink on like judgment. Every silence felt like a warning. One night, Mia dropped a folder on the table. Copies of Karen's emails, public records request. Backdated fines, mismatched signatures, legal language stolen from another county. She's running this like a business, Mia said. You're not the first target, just the only one fighting back. I looked at her. You sure you're ready? She smiled. Dad, I investigate worse every week. At least this one hides behind roses. The next morning, noise violation. Apparently, I'd been running lawn equipment at 10:40 p.m. I'd been asleep by 10. The officer at the door looked embarrassed. Seems personal, he said. Behind him, Karen pretended to prune a bush that wasn't even hers. Everything okay here? She asked sweetly. Ma'am, the officer replied. Please stop calling us for civil matters. Next day, online, resident Ethan Cole observed engaging in disorderly conduct with HOA board. The neighborhood forum lit up. I went from quiet widower to angry man with a temper. She's running a smear campaign, Mia said, slamming her laptop. She's running scared, I corrected. But the truth didn't stop the whispers. People crossed the street to avoid me. 2 nights later, second police call. Unauthorized construction. The structure in question? A half-packed bookshelf. Same officer. These repeated calls are harassment, Mia told him, badge visible. He nodded. Check the HOA complaint log at the precinct, he said quietly. You'll find a pattern. Next morning, spray paint on my curb. Rules are rules. The handwriting was unmistakable. Mia filed a report for harassment. She's losing control. Bullies get louder when they're cornered. But Karen wasn't done. 2 days later, she showed up with 2 board members and a camcorder. This is official documentation, she said, recording me watering my lawn. You're tampering with communal property. Karen, this is my yard. It's listed under my deed. That's under review, she said, grinning for the camera. Mia stepped out. Ma'am, you're trespassing. Step off this property. And who might you be? Detective Mia Kiel. Karen's camera shook. You're making a mistake, she stammered. Already made it, Mia replied. You called the police on my father. Twice. Filed fraudulent reports. You crossed the line. That night, neighbors started messaging me. Screenshots, chat logs, emails from Karen threatening fines if they encouraged noncompliance. By midnight, I had a folder full of evidence, all leading back to Karen. It's not an HOA, Mia said. It's a dictatorship. I leaned back, exhausted. So what do we do? Mia looked at me, steady. We fight back with paper. Only this time, ours has signatures that matter. In that moment, I realized Karen wasn't just trying to find me. She was trying to erase me. But she forgot. Engineers build things that last, and detectives know where the truth gets buried. Next morning, Mia found the smoking gun. Karen's husband, Richard, not only ran a landscaping company, he was proxy signatory for all HOA accounts. Every fine, every fee, funneled through a company he owned. Over $200,000 in 18 months, all disguised as maintenance. It was never about rules. It was about profit. We built a file. Mia printed, highlighted, cross-referenced. My job, skim metadata, verify signatures. Logic finds truth where chaos hides it. By noon, we had a timeline. By sunset, we had proof. We're ready for the next HOA meeting, Mia said, smiling. You're planning to walk into the lion's den with a flashlight? I asked. No, she said, with a spotlight. That night, I called the quiet neighbors, the ones Karen's fear had silenced. Told them what we'd found. Mrs. Harding whispered, I thought I was crazy. They fined me for a bird feeder. Mr. Alvarez admitted he'd been charged twice for the same inspection. I didn't want trouble. Mia took notes. This wasn't personal anymore. It was a pattern. The next day, Karen went all in. Cease and desist for unauthorized defamation. Mia's friend from the precinct checked company filings. Richard's LLC had lapsed 2 years ago. That's the nail, Mia said. That night, I finally understood what Laura meant when she told me to keep the roses alive. Some things survive control, if you're stubborn enough. The morning of the meeting, we printed everything. Evidence folders, photos, signatures. Mia paused at the door. Ready to end this? I was ready the day she taped that first letter to my door. The clubhouse looked like a courtroom that forgot to put up the flag. Karen sat center stage, flanked by her loyalists. As she ran through the agenda, I raised my hand. 2 minutes, she said. This won't take long, I told the room. I laid out my release from Willow Creek, recorded with the county. Showed the updated map, filed by Richard, not a surveyor, not a county official, but the HOA's contractor. Mia projected the map on the wall, signature big as a billboard. 18 months of transactions, all routed through their company. Karen tried to interrupt. Mia stepped forward calm. Detective Mia Cole, off-duty as family. I verified the following. The LLC is lapsed. The map is invalid. Fines have been backdated, double-charged. The crowd shifted. Mrs. Harding stood. I paid $450 for a bird feeder violation, then got billed again for a repeat offense I never committed. Is that in your records? Silence. Mr. Alvarez, you charged me twice for 2 inspections on the same day. I paid because I was afraid. Mia projected emails. Backdate this. Use template C for refusal. Karen lunged for the power strip, but Tom Beasley, the vice president, stopped her. What do you want, Cole? He asked. A refund? An apology? The truth, I said. And I want it in front of everyone you've been charging for breathing. Mia leaned into the mic. We've turned this over to a state investigator. Tonight is your chance to correct the record. Karen called it a witch hunt. He's a disgruntled ex-member. She's his daughter. Then Finley, Mia's friend from records, stood up. The LLC is lapsed. The map isn't valid. If you keep enforcing fines, you're liable. I stayed quiet for a long time. After my wife died, I told myself rules kept the world from falling apart. But rules don't keep order when the people making them forget why they exist. Tom Beasley moved for an emergency session to suspend the president's authority pending audit. Hands rose, dozens. Karen's face cracked. You people have no idea what you're inviting, she spat. Without enforcement, this community will rot. Mr. Alvarez shook his head. We'll mow our lawns without paying your husband to inspect the grass. People laughed. It was small, but it grew. You're all being manipulated, Karen tried again. A retired man clinging to a dead wife, and a daughter playing cop at a potluck. The laughter died. Mia just set down the last document, a summary of charges. You can call this a potluck. I call it evidence. Tom Beasley tallied votes. By majority, Karen was suspended, pending audit and legal review. The room exhaled. Some cried. Some hugged. For the first time, Karen stood alone, just a person with a clipboard in a room full of neighbors. What makes us special, I said, isn't rules. It's respect. For a moment, nobody moved. Then the sirens outside signaled the end of something. Finley slipped in, nodded at Mia. Meeting adjourned, Mia whispered. Not into the mic to me. We're done here. But we both knew justice doesn't end at a vote. It walks out the door and knocks. The next morning, as I loaded the last box, the street was silent. No shouting, no whispers. For the first time, it felt over. Mia asked, You sure you want to do this today? Yeah, I said, it's time I decide when I can breathe. I loaded the last box, shut the truck door, and that's when the sirens blared again. Karen, at the end of the driveway, calling the cops. He's stealing HOA property. The officers, same guys as before, looked tired. Mr. Cole, just need to clear this up. Mia stepped forward, hand on her folder. Karen saw her. Don't even think about interfering. This is official HOA business. Mia smiled, slow. Enforcement? You mean intimidation? She flashed her badge. Detective Mia Cole. As of this morning, Willow Creek Estates and its president are subjects in a state fraud investigation. The officers froze. Mia handed over the warrant, listing counts of fraud, forgery, harassment. Karen's clipboard hit the driveway. You can't arrest me. I'm the HOA president. Not anymore, the officer said, cuffing her as neighbors recorded. You're destroying this community, she shrieked. No, I told her quietly. You did that yourself. When the cuffs clicked, the street went silent. Mrs. Harding wiped her eyes. Mr. Alvarez shook my hand. We should have stood up sooner, he said. Mia smiled. You did now. By evening, the news vans had arrived. Someone taped a note to the Willow Creek sign. Order meets honesty. For the first time, I laughed. As I packed the last box, Mia leaned on the porch rail. You ready? I nodded, looking at the garden. Your mom used to say this house had a soul, she said. It just needed a new chapter. Before we drove off, an officer told me the state was freezing HOA accounts and that I'd likely get a refund check. Tell them to keep it, I said. They need it more than I do. He laughed. That's a first. As the engine rumbled, I looked back one last time. Children were playing, neighbors were talking, laughing. The place finally looked like the brochure. Mia climbed in, badge closed. You okay? Yeah, just strange. What is winning? I said almost to myself. As we drove out, sunlight caught the sign just right, like a blessing from Laura. Freedom didn't look cinematic. It looked earned. After Karen.